Over 50 years ago, Dr Jane Goodall began her pioneering work in Tanzania and forever changed how we see animal intelligence. Goodall is best known for her decades-long study of the social interactions and vocalizations of chimpanzees, and more recently, climate change advocacy. Just reading about your work, how animals communicate, specifically the vocalization of chimps, and it made me think, how can we as human beings better communicate with those who don't believe that climate change is an issue? How do we communicate with them?
Well, the only way I've found is to tell people stories, because I've been around the world so much, and I've stood in places where the ice was melting in winter where it never used to melt even in summer. I've seen the people who've had to leave their island homes because at high tide or in a hurricane they're uninhabitable because of sea level rise, and the terrible result of the flooding and the forest fires. There's been events like this before, but they're now more frequent, and most of them are worse. Why aren't people taking more action? I think it's because they feel helpless and hopeless. And if we look at the whole global picture, it's grim. We're going through very dark times. So the important message to get across, whether it's to kids or adults, is that every day we live, we make some impact on the planet. And we have a choice as to what kind of impact we make. What do we buy? Where does it come from? Did it harm the environment? Is it cheap because of child slave labor? These kind of questions.
And on that note, how do you continue to have hope for the future of the planet?
Well, mostly it's the young people. They're so determined and energetic, and, you know, everywhere I go, there are young people wanting to tell Dr. Jane what they're doing to make this a better world. And secondly, we have this incredible intellect. You know, we're already inventing technology that can help us live in greater harmony, and in our own lives, using our brain to think, how can I make less heavy environmental footprint? And then there's the resilience of nature. Give nature a chance. Places we've destroyed can once again support life, and animal species on the brink of extinction can be given another chance.
When Dr. Goodall started her research in the 1960s, it was thought that only humans made and used tools. She found countless instances of chimpanzees using tools, which supported Charles Darwin's theory of evolution and redefined what it meant to be human. Now 85, Jane's study has become the longest continuous piece of wildlife research ever undertaken. She spends 300 days a year bringing attention to conservation issues in her role as a UN Messenger of Peace, as well as continuing her work in Tanzania. Looking at the news last week, seeing thousands of New Zealand children marching in the streets demanding action on climate change, where do you think that we should go to from here?
Well, first of all, I sincerely hope that all those children marching will now be taking action themselves. Because it's no good pointing at somebody in government saying, you need to do more if you're doing nothing yourself. We're encouraging the young people to actually do something, not just march, not just hold up posters, but do that, yes, but only when you're doing something yourself.